The city of Whitehorse in Canada's Yukon Territories marks the gateway to the Canadian Arctic, which is why we're using it as the starting point for a journey deep into that very wilderness using the smart car.
Yukoners embrace their harsh long winter, using their wild backyard for some extreme pursuits. The Yukon Quest is a 1,000-mile dog sled race using a mode of transport that opened up the territory.
During the gold rush, dog teams used to be a way of transportation from food to mail, delivery, and I guess continuing on with the Yukon Quest, you're kind of trying to make the tradition keep on living faster. Faster than what it used to be during the gold rush.
Let's go. Up, up, Lucy. Let's go. Hey, straight ahead, amigo. Amigo, straight ahead.
In the summertime, to keep the dogs moving and trained, we'll train them pulling a little truck where we hook up 14 dogs and we'll sit 5 to 6 people in there and we'll do a little 2-kilometer loop and they pull it no problem. You come back and the brakes are burning.
So the engine's ticking over, but these guys are pulling, aren't they? I mean,
Yeah.
there's all the forward motion is the dogs.
Exactly.
How does this compare with your van that you normally use?
This is cozy. Training is really important, spending a lot of time with them and camping with them. It's just you and your dogs, you know? That's important for them to know that you're the pack leader. People come here and we teach them how to run dogs and hook them up, and they learn the real how to be a musher.
After a meal of Arctic char and bannock bread, we hit the road for the 5-hour drive from Whitehorse to the Gold Rush outpost of Dawson City. It's the last stop in Canada before Alaska.
Dawson City is a little bit of the Wild West. We're a gold mining town. We're steeped in history. We have a great First Nations culture, and it's right there. It's not hidden, and it's easy to interact with locals, and that goes back to a credo that was developed during the gold rush, the Great Gold Rush of 1898. So that's the way that people kind of live, you know? And when you bump into somebody in the street, they're going to say, hey, how you doing?
The gold rush might have been 100 years ago, but there's still gold in these parts. This is the Minto mine south of Dawson. A huge new find could create a new gold rush soon. Snowmobiling is a Canadian invention. Imagine a jet ski with a rubber track and an engine as big, if not bigger, than the Smarts. The ingredients for high-speed fun.
I'll take it for a spin.
Out on the frozen Yukon River, the petrol-head Canadians have created their own circuit on ice.
So that man up, look at it.
Anyone can turn up and race. So we did. Time for fun over. Next stop, the Dempster Highway, Canada's Arctic artery. Well, we're just outside Dawson City, and this is the bottom of the Dempster Highway, the highway to the Arctic. And this is the beginning of our journey all the way up to Inuvik. The bad news is, overnight a blizzard has come in, and they have closed the road halfway to Inuvik at a place called Eagle Plains. We're going to go there, but whether we can get beyond there, who knows? Around 500 miles long, crossing 2 territories and 2 time zones, the Dempster is a monster, but it's a lifeline for the town of Inuvik. Keeping it open despite blizzards and snowstorms is a priority. Up ahead, the highway is closed, but we make it to Eagle Plains safely, and there awaits our fate. Well, dawn has brought a much better day, and we're going to be allowed to go through to Inuvik today. There was a danger that we couldn't get through, but the graders have been out, and there are still very heavy winds, but we're going to go for it. Wrights Pass on the Yukon Northwest Territories border, one of the windiest places in Canada. It's blowing about 60 miles an hour at the moment, and quite often this road is closed. Thankfully, we've been able to make it through. So on we go towards Inuvik. Well, in summer, Inuvik is the end of the road. You can go no further in northern Canada, but in the winter, when the temperatures plummet, the Mackenzie River freezes solid, and hey presto, you have one of the world's longest ice roads all the way to the town of Tuk.
Well, to build an ice road, you have to actually clean off the snow because it blankets it, right? And it doesn't let it build as quick. So once you clean the snow off the ice, it starts building on its own with the cold weather. It kind of lets the heat out. And then your ice starts getting thicker and thicker all the time. And as more it's exposed, thicker it gets. Say a 1-ton truck, you need about 12 inches. For a semi this size here, we would want a meter of ice, so that's 3 feet of ice. The ice road to Tuk is 185 kilometers. It's 100 feet wide. It's you go through the Mackenzie River and various creeks and channels and in the East Branch, and then you go out into the Beaufort Sea and the ocean. Going out in the ocean is very interesting because the ice is always moving. You have pressure ridges. It's a very challenging road up there for the guys. As far as I know, we're the only ice road in the open ocean. The technique for driving on the ice road is common sense. I mean, you know, everyone thinks they're smooth. They're not really exactly that smooth. They're a lot rougher than what you would think. They're a lot slipperier than what you would think, especially in the springtime when we get the sunlight that's beating on it for 18 hours a day. It becomes just a big skating rink. But we've had trucks go through with full loads on. We've had plow trucks go through. We've had loaders go through, cats. We recovered them all though. Well, when a truck goes through, it's shorter than what I just said to you. If it's a loaded semi, it goes through fairly quick. If it's a piece of equipment, it goes through in seconds. Plow trucks, depending on what it is. You could be driving an overflow and it could happen. It could sit there for a long time before it goes through on a plow truck because you're hung up or because you're sitting stuck in a snowbank, and it could be sitting there a while. But on big trucks, if they're loaded, they go through in seconds.
Well, Tuktoyaktuk is the last town in Canada. The next stop north of here is the North Pole. And boy, is it cold. How cold was it last night here, Warren?
Well, when we got up this morning, the smart car was reading minus 26 degrees, and that's before you add in the wind chill. So we figured the car's going to need a little bit of shelter today. And in true Inuit style, we're going to build it an igloo.